Hey there, Nintendo fans. Darth Carnivorous here, and welcome back to another epic Nintendo video. As you can see before me, guys, yes, I have the Wii U set up. That's just for ambience, just for that sort of gamery background noise sort of thing. Obviously I've got the gamepad there set up. I've got the Wii U Pro controller, which has got the best battery life ever, and the Wii Mote with me Motion Plus. But that's not what this video is about. This video today is about Game Boy. Now, I'll give you a quick backstory of my experience with the Game Boy, and that was, I can't really remember the exact year, probably 95, 96 maybe. My brother actually got a Game Boy. He got a Game Boy for Christmas one year, whereas I got the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES or whatever you want to call it. So that's one thing I want to clarify though. In the UK, the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo were just either called the NES or the SNES. So for some reason, there was always a Z added to the instead of an S. I don't know why. It's just the way people say things. Anyway, so my brother got a Game Boy, I got an NES, and yeah, I loved it. I didn't really bother with his Game Boy, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was Nintendo, and I think the only game he had was Tetris. He didn't want any other game. Now, I managed to get a Game Boy from my brother. It was the same one. He ended up getting fed up with it, and I think my mum, she gave him a bit of money just to, just to say, right, there's some money, we can give that to your little brother. So I remember playing games like Super Mario Land. I tried to play Tetris, I just couldn't actually play it. I just couldn't. I know obviously you get the 4 rows. I said, was it Tetrominon or something? I think it's called. Back then, I had no interest. I was more interested in like Mario and stuff like that. So I remember playing games like Jurassic Park and Mario. Now I didn't have really a big collection of games back then, because back then you guys around my age will probably know this. One in your 30s, your 40s, or even your 50s, which I'm not yet. I'm far away from it anyway. You'll probably remember that back then you couldn't really get games like you can nowadays. There's not really. I mean, I don't mean that you couldn't get the games. I just mean money wise. Like, I mean, I was young. I was at school. Didn't have a job, so I had to rely on my parents to buy me things, or rely on birthday money, Christmas money, that sort of thing. So, long story short, I had a DMG Game Boy, which my brother decided to throw a house party when my parents were away for the weekend, and someone stole my Game Boy and all the games. I think I had, if I remember right, Super Mario Land, Super Mario Land 2, Jurassic Park, and there was one more that I had. I can't really remember what it is, but they went missing. My sister managed to track down, it was a female, and my older sister managed to track them down, and, well, she wouldn't give me any grisly details. Even to this day, she still wouldn't give me any grisly details, but she sold it and spent the money. So my sister managed to get the money back over. So end up using that to buy a Game Boy Color, which is obviously, don't get me wrong, I had this Game Boy for a couple of years. The good thing is though, because my brother, it was his responsibility, it's his problem. I got his video player, so his VHS player. So that was quite good. That was a bonus, having a Game Boy Color and obviously getting that. But the thing is, guys, with the Game Boy Color, the thing is, look, these devices back then, they were never backlit, and that's the biggest mistake Nintendo ever made, was not making them backlit. But they were still successful regardless. Now, I've always wanted to get a Game Boy again. The thing is, though, like, I do have really large hands, so playing certain games or using certain handhelds that I could use when I was younger was easier. But nowadays, it's a bit more cumbersome. It's a bit more, cramp in the hands and that sort of thing. But anyway, guys, so that was obviously a long story short. I could have went a lot longer there, went into a bit more detail, but I thought I would just not bother. Now, this is something that I got. I had a birthday recently, so I decided that I didn't really want anything, to be honest. But then there was one thing that I did want, and I managed to get outbid on it, and that kind of put me off. So it put me off for a couple of days, and I ended up finding something else. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to get that, because that's really pure nostalgia for me. And here it is. So yes, this is a Game Boy Color. As you can see, it's a white one with black buttons. So this is obviously customs. That's custom shell, custom buttons. And yeah, everything looks fantastic on this thing. And yet this thing is modded with an IPS screen as well, so it looks amazing. And the thing is though, like, I've been playing about this for a couple of days. Before I done this video, I thought, you know, I'm going to kind of fart about, get my impressions out the way just to see how much I love this thing. And I actually do love this thing, guys, I really do. Give me a sec, I'll just adjust the camera. Sorry guys, my hand's in the way. There we are. At least you get to see the gamepad screen now. So, yeah, I mean, it's relatively comfortable for me. I mean, it's still a bit crampy, and as you can see, I have to put my fingers away down here. And, you know, it is very, very crampy, but still, you know what, you persevere with something like this because it's really nice. So as you can see, this does have a glass protector on it as well, like the Game Boy Advances as well. And the thing, there's a couple of videos that I've watched with I think it's funny play screens, these are called. The Game Boy Color logo, you can select it and customize it so that it lights up. This one does not have that one, unfortunately, but it's not really a big deal because if I can show it off that way, you can see it's that sort of multicolored rainbow effect holographic look, and I love that, I really do. My Game Boy Advance SP has the same sort of look, and it reminds me of the old DVD players on the disc drawer. If you look at the little DVD logo, it would have that sort of shimmer on it. It just looks so cool. So this one does come with a flash cart, which is called Game Color. Sorry guys, excuse the budgies, because I'm talking, they'll try to talk with me, you know, the little shits. Anyway, yeah, so it comes with this one that obviously the seller that I bought it from, it was a really, really good deal. I got this one for 150. Sorry, 140. It was 100 and there was another one that was 150, but that was nothing with it apart from the console itself. So for £140 I got this, I got the game card as well, and also got like a carrying case as well, so I was kind of sorted that way, which was really good. I was going to buy one of these separate, and I was going to buy the EverDrive cart, which was like £60, so yeah, it gets quite expensive. So for £140 I was not complaining. There's no built-in battery or nothing, but the batteries that I use are these Energizer ones, and these ones last ages, like really, a really, really long time. So like I said guys, this comes with a flash cart, which is right there. Game Color it's called, and as you can see it's got the bit for the SD card there, and it's got a battery there for saving. And the good thing is though, if you want to reset a game, you just press this little white button here, so that's really cool. So I'll just power this on. Now the thing is though guys, just be prepared. This thing is amazing, it really is. Okay, here we go. I mean, look at that. That is impressive, it really is. It should not have a white screen, mind you. Now that's the thing with these flash cards, sometimes they read, sometimes they don't. Obviously if it reads the first time you got it in here, it will read no problem, but I think it's a little bit out of line, if I think, or unaligned. Oh, that's a weird one. So yeah, done this last night. Do the old classic, you know, blow into the cartridge. Usually that works, you know. There we are. So yeah, it is quite funny. I don't know, maybe the, you know, the cartridge reader on this isn't like the best, because it's probably like a second hand, probably pretty much destroyed GBA that they've just swapped over or whatever. But obviously the good thing is though, it's got every single Game Boy game on here. It's got every single Game Boy Color game on here. And it does have some Japanese games on here that it says that they're translated, but they're not, which is weird. But yeah, so if I get to say games, we go to like the most popular one, which all you guys know that it's Super Mario Brothers. Let's see. Oh, sorry, Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Land, which is right here. Right, so you hit load and start. Some games do take longer to load up. Some games don't take that long to load up. But as you can see, it looks really good. There's no ghosting in this. There's no blurriness. There's nothing compared to the original DMG Game Boy. And the thing is, guys, when I started playing this, it just brought back so many memories. And the one thing that my mum used to play these games, and my brother used to do as well. We used to try and see if we can get, in this level specifically, to see if we can get 100 coins. I think the highest you can get, if I remember right, is either 96 or 99, I can't really remember. But we can do that through here. Okay. Oh, you fucker. Okay, so I guess I failed that one. So anyway, guys, like I said, If you want to reset the game, you just hit this little white button right up there at the right side of the cartridge, if it can focus. Never mind. But the good thing is though, it's good technology, it's really smart. So there's a couple of things you can do in this one, okay? So if you touch, see the top part where the infrared receiver's, if you touch that part, it'll do something. If you touch the right side, it will do something different. So for instance, if I was to touch that one, it would change colour, so that it's a sort of bluey colour. You get, I don't know if that's red or pink or purple. It's one of the colours. Yellow as well. Red, green, which is more like the original Game Boy. Blue and black and white. So that's obviously the way that the Game Boy is supposed to look. Black and white, which is really, really cool. I love that feature. And if you want to change your brightness, just tap this. I think there's 10 levels of brightness. There we go. And if you hold it in, if you look right up there, it does show you a little battery indicator. You can just take that one down. Now the thing is though, it's kind of pointless with a battery indicator, because if you look at this power button here, the little LED, it starts to get duller as the batteries start to run out, and eventually it'll start flickering, so let you know that the batteries are almost dead. So I just go by that. And if you hold in this side here, as you can see, that goes to the original pixel mode, so it kind of looks like it's got scan lines. I don't know if you can actually see that. So I'll just try and turn that off, and you can see the difference. There we go. It's a bit easier to see in real life. Whoops. You know what? It's because I was looking for the camera there. You get a slight delay when recording things like this, which is quite annoying. So, like I said, guys, if you just hit this button here, it'll reset the flash cart, and there we go. So, obviously, you're just going to see Game Boy Color or whatever. So, I'll just load up another really good one. Let's see. There we go. And you know something, guys, I actually didn't realise I've never actually played this game before. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, I've got, no, well, not unlimited access to playing Game Boy games. But, that's the other thing, when this is reading and writing, you can see that it's accessing the chip in there. So, yeah. Oh, sorry, guys, I'll just show this one first. So here's Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. There we go. Right, so the one thing is, it's crazy about this. I mean, look at that. It's obviously black and white, but if you go back to this one, it goes back to the full colour. And I never actually knew how great this game would have been. I mean, through the viewfinder again. No, I never actually knew how good this game actually was. Obviously, when I had a Game Boy Color, guys, I had one of the WWE games. I think it was maybe Road to WrestleMania. I think I'm not really 100% sure. I had that, and I had another game. I think it was, I don't even know actually. And the thing is, though, see, because I had to sit outside in the sort of trying to get the sunlight, it's quite depressing that way. Especially you have to sit under the surface of the sun, or you need to sit under a street light, or you need to sit under a lamp or a light or something, just to get this thing to obviously show off how good it is. But I mean, if you look at this game just looks absolutely fantastic. This is an NES title, which I think, to be honest, it looks damn. It looks better than the NES for some reason. It probably isn't, just right now on this screen, whatever else it actually does. Ah, shit. But yeah, as you can see, so what I'll do is, I forgot you can do, I can switch to Luigi. Right. So, one of the other things I want to show you guys on this one is, say for instance, obviously these games don't have save states. Some games do have, like, obviously save parts in it, like Super Mario Brothers, Mario Land 2, Zelda DX. All those sort of games have obviously supposed to have batteries inside the cartridges so you can save your games. This has the same thing. As you can see, if you turn this round, the battery is right there, so it does help save. I'm surprised it doesn't save to the memory card. Then again, it might do. I'm not really sure. Anyway, say for instance, obviously, you're playing that Mario game, and then you have to turn this off. Obviously, it doesn't have save states. You can't put this thing on sleep. It's not like a Game Boy Advance or a DS or whatever. So you have to turn it off. But as soon as you power it back on, press the start button, and it'll load back in the game you were last playing, which I think is fantastic. So what I'll do is, guys, to show you off obviously how amazing this looks. It looks even better in real life, guys. So you'll see obviously the first level for yourself. I mean, look at that. Obviously, you don't get the full screen because it's 4x3 and whatever else. But if you go up, I just think that's absolutely crazy. And I mean, I do love playing the original Super Mario Brothers. And when I was younger, and obviously I seen this game and it said Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, I don't know why, I just thought it was the arcade version, even though that's Mario Brothers. I just at the time didn't really care or didn't put two and two together. So, oh well. But that's the thing, guys. I didn't realise how great these games were actually were. They're just like insanely fun. And obviously, when you're playing a game on a original Game Boy, a DMG Game Boy, you're getting that sort of putrid, horrible, baby poo green screen. You're obviously getting that. And you obviously get the motion blur and the ghosting and whatever else. And it's at the time it's a fine experience. That's something you do get used to. But that way where you want something a bit better. All obviously these like the Atari Lynx and the Game Gear had the ghosting or the motion blur or whatever it is. It's just obviously LCD technology back then. It's just the way it was. But you know, I've been playing with this thing a few days now, and just I've been hooked. Honestly, I didn't know how fun these things actually were, even though I had them back in the day. I didn't have really many games for it. Obviously, like I said, they weren't backlit. I had this sort of worm light as well for it, which helped a little. I mean, it was good enough. But obviously, like nowadays, we're getting IPS screens, and all these older consoles have got IPS screens inside them now. Obviously, from very very talented models, and it's crazy the amount of stuff that we can do these days. But my next video, guys, is going to be showing off all my handheld collection. So I've got quite a few handhelds to show off. I have done like a modded handheld collection, but I think that was only DS, 3DS, Game Boy, and PSP maybe, PS Vita. But I have a couple more to show off as well, so that'll make a better video. Obviously, I've got this thing as well, but you've probably watched this one already. But there's a lot of games out there that are that are compatible with the Game Boy Color. Obviously, they're made for Game Boy Color, and they look great. I mean, even games like games. There's a lot of games here that I haven't even played before. Now, I do have access to Game Boy games. No, there's no regards to that. That I do have access. I can play Game Boy games on my Wii U. I can play it on my phone, my tablet, my PC, my laptop. I can play it on my Steam Deck if I like. I can play it on my Switch as well because of the Switch, Nintendo Switch Online. I can play them on my PS Vita. I can play them on my PSP. So there's no way. Like obviously I can't play them on this. Obviously, you're probably thinking, why did you buy this then? If you know, if you can play them on other systems. The thing is though, for me guys, I do prefer playing things on original hardware. Yes, emulation is fine to some extent, but I do prefer playing it on original hardware. It's like playing Game Boy Advance games. I play them on original hardware. It's just for me. I find them more fun, and that's the sort of aim that I go for, is to try and get every sort of bit of technology that like this, and obviously have them either modded in some sort of way, and having like obviously flashcards or whatever. Obviously, things like this don't have any onboard memory or nothing, so you can't kind of flash anything to it to have like the games digitally. You can't really do that. This is obviously the next best step to have them digitally, is a flashcard. So, but yeah, guys, I just wanted to show this video off. This is obviously a sort of birthday present to myself. And the thing is, well, this is a bigger screen than it is on the Game Boy Color. So this has every Game Boy game and every Game Boy Color game on here, like I mentioned. So if you can Game Boy compatible games as well, they've got A to Z, the Japanese games A to Z, and translated as well. So it's crazy. There's thousands of games on this little thing, and it's crazy. I think it's got a 8 GB SD card, which I don't even think it's anywhere near full, because these games are like kilobytes. They're very, very, very small. But yeah, I love this thing. I really do. I mean, for me, like obviously the size of my hands, I do get used to these things. But at first I was kind of like, I felt like it was dead cramped, and it just took me out of the experience a little bit. But that way I persevered with it, and you know what? I've been playing Super Mario Land and Super Mario Land 2 as well. Six golden coins, because these games are just crazy. They really are. I didn't realise that battery indicator was on. Oh, oh no, I've actually shown it off. So obviously I've shown off the touch parts as well. The thing is, I prefer playing the Game Boy, the original Game Boy games like that. That just looks so damn cool, you know. And the thing is, like, even though I did have this game, guys, yeah, weirdly enough, on the screen it was like, if you look at the if you look at the screen right now, on the actual screen itself, so what you're seeing is it looks like it's sort of that weird green colour, as if it's like the Game Boy Light, whereas obviously with my naked eyes, it looks like the Game Boy. Apart from it's a lot clearer, no motion blur, no blurriness or nothing. But the thing is, though, guys, I did have this game back in the day, like a couple other games that I had as well. And the thing is, though, like, I, I forgot how good these games actually were. I mean, I was playing this today for about an hour and a half, just farting about and playing different levels, and even doing the little kind of level where you can kind of build your lives up and stuff like that. It will obviously take its time, but I can get maybe 1-2 lives at a time, and that's fine by me. But playing these games is absolutely fantastic, and I love the power ups as well. And the music is so good, and this one makes it feel like even more like a Mario game rather than the Mario Land. It felt like its own standalone game, you know. Well, even though technically it was, yeah. I mean, that's when you get all the sound effects. I just realised that I'm in a beehive. I just seen the honeycomb and that there. Ah, come on, give me a power up. But yeah, I forgot how good these games actually were, and obviously because the clarity as well, it just makes it so much more a joy to play. I mean, I could play these games on RetroArch with like overlays and things like that to make the experience a bit better. But like I said to you guys, I do prefer to play on original hardware, even though this is a tiny screen compared to obviously a lot of stuff that I've got. Damn, I didn't realise it died there. So yeah, this is obviously a smaller screen compared to say like the Wii U gamepad. It's crazy, but I still love it. I really do. I mean, I've got a Game Boy Advance, I've got a Game Boy Advance SP, I've got a PSP 3000, I've got a PS Vita. So obviously the handhelds are different sizes as well. So it's really good. So yeah, I'll just put that to one side, and I'm so glad that I actually got this thing, guys. I really am. That way, when I paid for it, I thought, am I doing the right thing? And is it something that I really, really do want? And it's that way where I was thinking about it, obviously, over the couple of days, and I could have got a refund if I chose to. Um, but that way, when it showed up, I fired it up. And the thing is, though, when I fired it up, I just pressed the start button, and Zelda loaded up. Link's Awakening DX, that one loaded up. I was like, I just saw the colour, the contrast, the brightness, everything was just amazing. Obviously, you see this thing with your own eyes, it's so much better. It really is. It's just one of those ones. I even sent a picture to one of my good friends, and he just looked at it and thought, "That looks amazing. That picture. That just looks so good. Like, it looked fake." I says, "Listen, bro, it is not fake. This is the real deal, you know." And he saw it himself as well in person. He fell in love. He's actually trying to track down one for himself. Um, he's the sort of person as well. He's like around about my age. I think he's a wee bit older than me, and he's the sort of person that, that way when you're in that sort of mood, it's all you want. You want to play it. But yeah, guys, like I said, back in the day, a Game Boy for me, I was more of a console gamer rather than a handheld gamer. Even though at some point I did have a Game Gear, I've not had an Atari Lynx, but I have tried one. My friend had this other friend staying from college one time, and he had a Atari Lynx, and I had a little shot at his, and it was not too bad, and it was quite cool because it was backlit as well. One of my other friends had a Sega Game Gear, which I thought was amazing because it was backlit. And there's me with my Game Boy having to sit under the sun to try and enjoy my game, you know. But it's crazy how far we've came. You may think it in 20 years' time, you know, they're going to have like, proper OLED screens for like your Wii U and, you know, things like that. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Next, it'll be OLED screens for these, you know. That's probably going to be one of the next ones, more vivid, more bright, more vibrant. I mean, obviously, you could play these games on your Nintendo Switch OLED, which I do have, and that's you getting the full sort of playability out of it, you know. But anyway, guys, I was going to try and make this a short video, but you know what? I just wanted to show this thing off. I'm really happy with this thing. I paid £140 for this thing, and that's the thing though. I was going to buy everything separate, and it was going to cost me upwards of £200. So I saved myself like £60. I got myself a case, which is this one right here. So it's just a standard, you know, case. It's not an official case. Even though I do have an official Game Boy case, which I keep my Game Boy Advance SP in it, but this one fits absolutely perfect in this one. It's a bit hard as well, so it will protect this thing, you know. So it is really good. And also I got the flash cards as well. I don't really know how much those flash cards go for, but the EverDrives go for about £60. So yeah, I probably did save myself about 40 or £60 I saved myself, which I'm very happy with. But yeah, it's so good. So I'm going to play some more Game Boy games, guys, and you know what? My next video is going to be on my handheld collection, so I'm not really sure when I'll be able to upload that one, but you know what, guys, if you subscribe to me, you know, you're going to see it at some point anyway, so I hope you do look forward to that one as well. You know, you can comment down below what's your favourite handheld, what's your favourite handheld game. Do you have any memories of playing handheld games, maybe in a car or a plane or a train or something like that, you know, to try and pass the time? You know, it's like nowadays, even though I'm an older guy, nowadays I still take handhelds with me everywhere I go. I've always got something, because these things are easy to just slip in a pocket. You know, obviously for the Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck and things like that, they're a bit bigger. It's harder to kind of make them sort of portable, even though they are technically portable, but you know, you can't kind of throw it in a pocket really. You know, you can't really stick it in a pocket, because I've got, like, for my Nintendo Switch OLED, I've got the Hori Split Pad Pro, which adds, they're obviously a bigger version of Joy-Cons, so they add more width, you know, so you can't exactly throw them in a pocket, you know, unless you're going to dismantle everything. Whereas in these things, you just throw them in a pocket, a backpack, anything you want, and then they are like pretty much 100% portable, you know, something you can easily bring out when you're, you know, doing a poo or having a seat or, you know, something like that. But yeah, like I said, guys, it's something I'm really happy I got. I'm looking into getting maybe a little rechargeable battery pack inside of it, so I can obviously charge it up that way. But you know what, guys, I've shown off the batteries before, and I have showed these ones off before as well. And this is the Energizer. You just plug this in, plug your batteries in, it charges it up. And these things last ages. They're really good. I've had these for a number of years, though I may have to get new ones to replace them, because they're not holding as much as a charge as they used to. They're probably like 3/4 of a charge left in it, which is fine by me, and they're not really that expensive, to be honest. And I just plug these in. They take about maybe an hour and a half to go from 0 to 100, so that's really good. And obviously this thing takes two AA batteries, so I always have, like, these ones are fully charged, the ones inside are fully charged, and once those start to go, I'll switch them over, put them back on charge. You know, it's a win-win. And yeah, so I would love to see what it's like in 20 years time, 30 years time, 40 years time, just to see how far the technologies came in, like, handheld gaming and stuff like that, because you'll probably see, like, you know, if you've seen the PS Vita 1000, which is the OLED model, it's got like one of the earliest OLED, can't even say that word right, guys, OLED screens. So if you've noticed that when it goes like dark, you see sort of black splodges everywhere. That's the only way I can explain it. But no doubt in like 10 years time, 20 years time, even in the near future, there's a possibility someone's going to like do a mod where they replace the screen, and it's going to be like even better. You know, it's going to be sharpness, like sharp as hell and whatever else. So anyway, you know, I'm looking forward to see what the future holds. So anyway, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what's your favourite handheld, and do you still have your favourite handheld in your possession, or have you bought the same sort of handheld that you used to have but it's been modded in some way, like the screen's been modded or the shell's been modded or something like that? Because if you guys remember that these things are all plastic, and especially the screens, obviously Nintendo's made them plastic, because if they made them glass and, maybe a kid dropped it and tried to pick it up, cut themselves, or they ingested some of that glass or whatever else. I can see their point, but the thing is, though, like they're completely scratch. You know, I don't even know what a word is. Like they just basically a bit of dust can scratch them. It's that easy. So I'm sure if you guys have like your original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Advance, whatever, if it's the original model, it's not been modded in any way. No doubt there's probably scratches all over your screen. It's just what happens. It does suck. I mean, you try and take care of these things. I mean, I've done that since I was younger. I've always kept the boxes for things. I've always got cases for things. I've always tried to put screen protectors on, which reminds me, I need to get a screen protector for this. But that's the sort of thing that I do, and I do look after my stuff. I'm sure you guys out there look after your stuff as well, because it's the thing is, you're putting a lot of money into these things, and you want them to last as long as possible. That way I could, in a month's time, I may not have any interest in this whatsoever. I'll take the batteries out, and then it will just sit in this box here, and then maybe a week or two after that, I'll be thinking I could really go a shot of Jurassic Park or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that on the Game Boy and just fire it up again. It's just that's what I do. I've got lots of consoles that are all modded, so I can do that. Like I haven't played my Wii U in about maybe 2 months. Now I want to play my Wii U again and my Game Boy, something that's not Nintendo. So it's just whatever your mood is. Anyway, guys, that's it for the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, leave me a comment down below. What's your favourite handheld? Do you still own that handheld? Is it modded? What's your favourite game for that one? What's your gaming memories? Like, what's your first memories as well from playing it for the first time? And, let me know in the comments down below, And, yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, guys, I would appreciate it if you smash the like button. Also, if you threw me your devil horns and subscribe to my channel for more epic Nintendo stuff like this. And sayonara.